and I'm here back with another episode of SOB Success Stories. And that is the stories of people who have found success in spite of their challenges. And today I am so excited to be talking to my friend and my former student, one of my amazing former students from my life skills class at the University of Memphis, Miss Destini Johnson. And Destini is a communications coordinator at SERS. So Destini, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the questions.
Well, I am, like Summer said, I'm a graduate of UofM as well. I study communications right now. Prior to working at SERVS, I worked at Fox 13 in news for about almost 3 years. Then I transitioned over to nonprofit, and now I am the communications coordinator. So basically, I'm like a social media guru. I manage all of their social media accounts along with the website to do PR and marketing strategies for whatever the fundraisers that we may have coming up. So that's what I do now.
And Destini was, like I said, she was one of my students, but she was not just a student. She was awesome. She was an ideal student. I mean, I don't know who's going to end up watching this video, but I think probably some high school students, some college students, some young professionals. And so that's why I'm really excited to be talking to you, Destini, because you were from day one, the very first class, enthusiastic. You approached me, you told me you were ready to learn, you were excited to learn. Every class you came excited and ready to share and sharing what you were learning from the reading. And that was good for me as a professor to be like, okay, this is working. What I'm doing is working, it's helping, and made me want to pour more out and do more with you, which is what we ended up doing. And I'm saying all this, and we'll get into the questions in a second, but how you ended up doing so much for me. So Destini also was videographer. many days over at my house. What'd you say?
Late nights.
Yeah, miking me up, recording me, and that was early on in my business, and it was really, really fun working with Destini, and watching her grow and develop, and her watching me and my business grow and develop. And so I appreciate you contributing to the work that I've been doing now for a long time. And I see you putting all those skills to use in your job right now. And then I was go back to college, you were practicing, you were doing a lot of those things while you were in college. And I'm glad you were able to continue to practice and support me and help me at the same time. And I love your growth and I love your development and seeing you as a young woman and a young professional. So let's get into the questions, because I already know you're about to help some people. So in this program, I have what I call the SOB Success System. And that's learning how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, calculate choices, and that equals SOB success. So I think if you can do all of those things, you can be successful no matter what challenges you face in your life. And so my first question for you is, talk to us a little bit about some of the obstacles that you've had in your life that you've had to overcome, and share how you've overcome some of those obstacles.
Well, I would actually just say that I think the biggest obstacle that I have faced thus far was getting through college. It did not take me the standard 4 years to get out of high school, figure out what I wanted to do, and then get through college, and then transition to work life. It took me, I want to say, about 7 years, and there was just a lot of not giving up. And I think that was possibly, even at almost 30, I think that's the biggest obstacle I've had, because I had to, like you said, not come up with any type of excuses and get it done, because I knew what I wanted. I wanted that paper. I wanted the degree. So I stopped going full time and cut back to part time, to saving up money one semester to go to the following, to pay for the following semester. So just trying to stay on myself, because I really didn't have anybody to push me and tell me to keep going. I had to really find it within, and motivate myself to continue. because I
Well,
want
I salute you, Destiny, because a lot of people would give up, right? So if it's taking a little bit longer than, and not just on college, but just in general, but we can speak about college. If it's taking longer than you wanted to take, if it's hard, it's easy to give up. It's easy to give up. And I'm glad you're sharing that story, because a lot of people who I think will end up watching this may be a college student who may be struggling, or may be thinking about giving up. And it may be someone who did give up on college or something else. And you sharing that will encourage them to go back and finish it, or just stick in there to finish it.
Yeah, I think people give up because it's easier to give up, and
Short term, right?
it's easy to just say, okay, I'm done. I tried. At least I can say that I gave it a shot. But you got to put some hard work and some effort and some tireless nights and early mornings. Like I used to get to the school just so I could get into the parking lot first and then go to sleep and then wake up so I could go ahead and
Oh, wow.
yeah, because I used to work overnight. So when I got off work, I would just go home, grab my backpack, and go back to the school. Like there's no reason I wouldn't change clothes. I would head right back to school and then take a cat nap in the car and then go to my class.
Now that's some dedication, Destiny. That's some dedication. Well, look, okay, that brings me to the next question. So overcoming obstacles, and then the next part of the formula or the system is eliminating excuses. So you could have had that excuse, right? I work at night, I work overnight, I'm tired. That could have been an excuse for you not to go to class. So talk to me about maybe that excuse or any other excuses that you could have used, or that you decided not to use, or maybe that you did use and you had to learn how to eliminate those from your life so you could be successful.
I feel like the easiest excuse that I've always had was I don't have time. I think trying not to use it as much in my life now that even as a graduate, but it's always, I don't have the time. I can't find the time. I don't know how I would manage the time to do it. So I think that's my big excuse that I've had. Always saying, I can't do it. I don't know how I'm gonna fit it in. But you can make time for things that are important to you and what you want to do and what you need to do. You just have to find a way to do it. So I think that the biggest excuse I've always had was like putting it off on time.
Right.
I don't know how I'm going to fit this in. How could I do school at night and then classes in the early morning and then, have a successful social life and spend time with my family and my parents, people that I need to see to make it feel like I'm still a human. I'm not a robot, so I had to get past that and actually sitting down and coming up with a schedule. Now I do everything by schedule. Everything, I have a calendar in which I go by day, hour by hour, what I have to do, because you have the time. You just have to find it.
And I'm glad that you said that. I remember, and this was very valuable lesson for me when I was a freshman. The dean, it was the dean of students at the time. He was talking to my class, and he said, if anybody ever says they don't have time for something, and you got everybody's attention right now, right? Because we always say everybody has something saying, I don't have time to work out is a big one. But if anybody ever says I don't have time for something, all they're saying is that's not a priority. And I was like, that was pretty profound.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth, right? So no matter what it is, and I was guilty of saying, whatever, I don't have time to exercise. It's like, no, all I'm saying is it's not important for me to exercise, because if it was important, then I would have the time to do it. And that applies to everything in life. And I'm glad you gave the practical tip about the calendar. And you already know I live by a calendar too. And back then I learned how to use the Franklin planner. And I talked about this in another interview, probably dating myself because a lot of people don't know what a Franklin planner is. You probably never heard of it, but I was trained on using it. You probably heard of a Palm Pilot, right?
Yes.
So it's the predecessor to the Palm Pilot, but it taught my mind to do exactly what you just described, though. To how to write everything down in my calendar, and then even day by day, and put all my tasks down. So at the end of the day, if something didn't get done, it was because I chose not to do it, not because time wasn't allotted for it, not because I forgot. And so I think that's important. especially if we use, because we all use time as an excuse. I think that's a good one. Okay, so the next part of the SOA success system, so it's overcoming obstacles, eliminating excuses, and then calculating choices. And so we all have obstacles. They will come forever, right? And we all can make excuses, but we all have the power to make some calculated choices. What were some of the choices that you made in your life that help you to get to where you are right now?
I want to say a calculated choice that I made was to actually choose me first.
Oh, that's a good one.
Choose my health first. Choose my mental health first. Choose just overall putting myself first. I kind of have I normally try to think of others before myself. You know, people, you find kind of people who don't mind stretching themselves thin for others. And that's good. It's not a bad thing to have, but you have to also make time for yourself just as much, because it won't, you'll break if you keep stretching yourself too thin. You know, you'll break, and then it'll be nothing. You will be nothing for yourself or for anybody else. So
I think that's so important. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're fine. I had to learn it the hard way. So I would say the biggest choice I had to make was to actually choose me, and to move over into another job. I didn't want to leave news, but it wasn't really a good fit for me or my mental health.
So talk about that a little bit. What was your job?
Well, I was a assignment editor. So basically, in a nutshell, some people in news would call me the heart of the newsroom because we do a lot. We do a lot. We sit at the desk and with 2 or 3 screens, and we listen to police scanners. So we hear all of the dispatch out for rapes, shootings, drownings. And I'm from Memphis, so it would worry my nerves. And my parents have a business as well, so that would worry my nerves a lot when I would hear certain parts of the city where people would be and certain stuff going on. Because even though I'm at work, I'm supposed to think like, okay, something is going on. We have to get someone there to report it. So if I heard like a drowning or something, I would send a team out, a reporter and a photographer, to go see what's going on. They report it back to me, and then we give it to the community and let them know what happened. So if they say something about something that happened on Winchester, I can think of a lot of people that I know that stay in the area. So then I'm like, okay. And a couple of times it's happened. We've reported on my family, and I had to like still work, because in the news, I wouldn't say that we're heartless, but you do have to know how to put your feelings to the side and deal with what we're doing now. And it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to report about, you know, your family dying, and then
or any family, right?
It's really hard. But you know, it's a disconnect if you really don't have to worry about your family, you know, because a lot of our people aren't from Memphis. So they're from like Ohio or Connecticut. So they can report about stuff in Memphis because they know it's not going to be their family. The concern really isn't, it's there because they're human, but it's not there because it's not worry. It's not a worry. For me, it's a worry because all of my family and all of my friends are here. And so my heart beats twice if I know that could be my little cousin that drowned, until it's a worry. It's just a constant
right.
worry.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So it started to take a toll on you when you made a decision, huh?
Yes, I had to. I love news. It's the rush. It's a rush trying to get everything together for people at 5 and knowing that it's live. Like we have that type of control to help our community. I had to find another way to make a big impact in in my community. So I itched over to a nonprofit.
And talk to us about a little bit about what you do there. Well, you mentioned earlier, so now you work with SERVs. Did you find that balance? Because you talked about the importance of putting yourself first in the self-care aspect of your life.
Yes, it did give me some type of balance, because I was able to control a lot of the things that I felt like I had no control over when I was working with the news. So it's a difference going from the news fast paced to marketing and PR. It's a little bit slower. And I like it. It's more predictable versus news, which is never predictable. You can never
Right.
say, a Friday could be calm or it could be a mass shooting and then we have to, call people in and we all have to work. The hours are crazy, but with PR, it's like a standard 8 to 5. This is normal. You're off on weekends, you get your holidays. I get to watch the news instead of be a part of it. It's refreshing. It's like
That kind of reminds me of it's definitely not exactly the same, but when I worked for the Memphis Grizzlies, and we work all the time because we worked regular business hours and we had games at night, and I was marketing manager for the arena as well, so we had events too on the weekends, and I loved it, but I was working all the time, so I always felt on, never fully relaxed. And then when I quit and started working at another company, I was like, wow, I get to just sit here at the game. Like just sit here. I don't have to walk around. I don't have to, but it took me probably about a year. And I bet you it's the same thing for you to just watch the game and not look at, well, what's this sponsor and they did that wrong and what is this? And I still was examining everything, all the other things that were my job. I'm like, wait, this was wrong and why do they have this? It took a minute. So I bet you still watch the news with a critical eye.
do. And the thing is, it goes kind of like beyond news. I watch TV with a critical eye. I watch movies with a critical eye because I do film. Like you said, I used to help film. I have a hand in film still in a way, but working behind the scenes, what's wrong, what's supposed to happen, even if you don't see the rundown. It's like, okay, that wasn't supposed to happen, but I'm gonna make that up. I don't think I'll ever lose that though.
Yeah.
I was in it for too long. So now it's like I could look at the news, but I'm still gonna be looking at the news.
Right. And you know what? You're exactly right, because I still watch the games the same way, even the broadcast, because I work with the broadcast department. But it's all can be also a positive, right? Because now you have just another level of expertise that you can apply in different areas of your life, even. So I think that's cool. But so I'm thinking about you, Destini, and whoever ends up watching this, and talking about choices. We're talking about choices and calculated choices and choices that you made. And I'm thinking back to the importance of choices early on, even, right? That put you in the position to have the choice. So I like thinking about that. And I always say education is one of those things, right? That gives you the choice. So you're in the position and you're like, okay, whatever it is, this is not the position I want to be in. It might be a position on your job or just a position in life. And by making that choice to get your education, to push through those 7 years, now you're like, okay, I don't want to work this job. I want to work another job. So you have your education and you got choices. And that positions you for what I call so what success. So overcoming obstacles, dealing with all those obstacles in your life, learning how to overcome those, eliminating excuses, and then making some good calculated choices puts you in a position to have so what success, and that success in spite of any challenges that you face. Now, here's our next question. How do you define success?
I define success by doing something that truly makes you happy. Truly makes you happy. Now, I haven't necessarily found that type of happiness that I'm speaking about, but I know it exists. I know I'll get there soon. I know that the choices that I've made and continue to make will get me there. So I kind of think that that's what keeps me like calm about it. Like I'm okay with the process. I can trust the process because I know I'm consistently making the choices to put myself in a better position every day. Every day. So I think back when you said about the calculated choices, I didn't know that me making a choice, because I didn't know you when I chose to take your class. I just heard about it, like I saw it somewhere and it just looked interesting. I just went out on a whim and made a choice, and then it got me all the way here. Like even just the choices that I made with my relationship with you has helped me blossom so many times in my life. And it's just because of that one choice I made to, sign up for the class. I had no idea where I was going. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was just going to make a choice and just step out on faith. So
I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
I am too.
I am grateful.
I'm a little bit more grateful to even just say that I know you, or I've had conversations with you that you have helped bless me, and it's all because I made a choice. So I think that, making calculated choices can help you get to great success.
That you can't even imagine, right? I like that you gave that example, because I have a lot of examples in my life too that I can think of one choice that has led me to some great, even honestly, my choice to join the Student Activities Council when I was a freshman in college. I can attribute that along with other steps that I made along the way, but I can go all the way back to that and see that as positioning me to be president of the National Alumni Association Board of Directors.
Mm.
There's a direct tie from me as a freshman in Student Activities Council and me as the president of National Alumni Association Board of Directors. And you'll start to see those and all kinds of, especially when you look for it, that one choice that led you to some greater choice that's beyond what you ever would have planned. And then I like how you said that too, like you feel like it's been a blessing to your life, but it's been an equal blessing to my life, because it was a blessing to me just even in the class to have you. I mean, I'm an educator. Educators will probably be watching this too. We need people to appreciate us and to make us feel like we're doing something or our time is worthwhile. And you always did that for me every single class.
Then it was a night class. And those are like the hardest.
3 hours.
Like, oh my goodness, this is nighttime. Like, I'm tired. It's the end of the day. And then, but I always wanted to go. It was never a time where I'm like, ugh, I should gotta go. No, I was excited. I was there early because I knew that was a good class for me. It helped me get here. These are calculated choices that I've made to get me here.
And I love it, Destini. And I would even say, you even in the class, you made the calculated choice to be present, like you said, to show up early, but even with your assignments and your enthusiasm. And I think, for whoever's watching this, to think about those daily calculated choices. So not even the big ones, right? Just even some of the small ones that can get us to what we call success. And I'm glad thank you for providing your definition. I have one more question. Just one more question. So for somebody who's watching this who may want to be successful, however they define success, but they're facing obstacles, whatever the obstacles might be, what advice would you give someone who's dealing with some challenges, but they just want to make it? They just want to do better. What advice would you give?
Well, I'm a visionary. I have to see things. So I would say put your goals in front of you. I'm not sure if you remember, but you probably remember. You had us do vision boards, and I still have mine. It's right here. I still use it. So I have to see what I want to happen in my life. So I had to put it out and every day, and I put it in my room. So I feel like if you can see it every day, even when you're facing those hard days, if I have it right in here in my room, it's going to remind me to stay focused because this is what I want. I still put things on my board today. I put something up here last week, and it's right next to my calendar. So I have my vision board to keep me focused, and then I have my calendar to keep me on point through my day. So I would say the advice I would give is to just make your visions real. Like, put your goals out in front of you and give yourself something to look to, because we are going to have hard days. Like, it's going to come, but you have to put your goals right in front of you so you can't forget them and so you can stay focused. It's very, very easy to get sidetracked or discouraged. And I definitely got discouraged going through school as long as I was. And it just helped to see that it can happen and to see that, okay, I'm getting up today. I have to stay connected. I have to, stay coachable, as what Summer would call me. And I just have to stay consistent, and not get discouraged. A lot of the power I found was from within, was from myself. I had to motivate myself. And I think that that's the biggest advice I could ever give someone, to just put your vision, your dreams, your goals literally in front of you. Write them down, put them on a board, put them on sticky notes, and make sure that they're there so you can see them. Because it's easy to see things to get you off track, but you definitely need things to keep you on track.
I love it. I love it. And you dropped another little nugget in there with that coachable. And yeah, and that is something that I've always said to you, about you, one of the best traits about you, aside from your creativity and great personality. And one of the greatest traits for you, and I think for anybody who wants to be successful, is to be coachable. And you have always been there. You always ask for feedback. And when you get it, you receive it and you take it and you run with it. And that's why you are where you are. And that's why, even when you were a student or in a recent graduate, I was like, I see great things for you. I see great things for you. Because I can't imagine anything stopping you when you have a good heart, a great personality, and you're willing to learn and wanting to learn. So thank you so much for your time, Destini. I think this has been beautiful and it's going to help a lot of people.
I hope so. You guys can do it. It can be done. You just have to stay focused.